Good evening, folks. The MCU'S Bleeding Edge YouTube channel and podcast back again on another Wednesday evening, 3/26/25, to break down and discuss Daredevil Born Again episodes 5 and 6 with myself leading the discussion, co-host Jeff S., a.k.a. TrueKnowledge. I'm here with returning guests after doing episodes 1 and 2 with us, Imran from Jock and Nerd podcast, good friend of the program. Good to see you, Imran.
What's up? How's it going?
Loyal veteran content creator, co-host Cyberneticshark is here as usual. Although he's taking off Friday, he is doing Daredevil, and it's good to see you tonight, sir. Looking forward to seeing your contributions on the panel on the show tonight. Andre's pop culture guy is here as usual. He would never miss an episode of Daredevil. So guys, I hope you guys are excited. I think that there's a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. In terms of what we got to work with, episodes 5 and 6, and everybody out there, of course, we are a podcast and a, digital outfit. So, we're not just on YouTube. We are a podcast. If you enjoy us in audio form, do us a solid and follow us. Give us a rating. We appreciate it. All right. So, I guess I'll just, launch right into the episode since we do have 2 of these to cover. And I'll just start off with, I guess, you guys' general thoughts on anything left over from episodes 3 and 4, and then just your overall thoughts on episode 5 in general. And I'll go to you first, Imran, since you missed a couple of weeks with us. So if there's anything you want to mention, from any of the other episodes or whatever that you didn't do with us, you have a minute to do it.
Well, look, I'm still digging the show. I love seeing Frank Castle return. Bernthal's take on Frank is it's a very unique one. He does a lot of screaming. He's always screaming, but him and Charlie Cox's chemistry is amazing. That part I loved. But then this whole fiddle faddle theft storyline, I was like, what was the point of all this with the fiddle faddle? Enough with the fiddle faddle. I mean, I like caramel corn as much as the next guy, but come on. I get what they were trying to say about the prison system, and there's a lot of that. So the show continues to be good, but it's like it's this weird uneven thing, especially with these 2 episodes. There's a weird momentum, and also they left us the end of episode 4 with this promise of both these guys getting ready. Right? Matt Murdock's on the roof twirling his thing, practicing, and like you see the thing with Adam. And then this episode, it doesn't really pick up on that. You just kind of forget about that. You got to wait for that. It's weird. But then this episode, episode 5, is unique for its own reasons. But so far, I'm still like really interested in see where it's going. It just seems to be so far they're still like moving the pieces around, right? You could see where the whole first 4 episodes was them moving things around, kind of putting this puzzle back together. Now, I believe we're getting into some of the episodes that were not altered, that they didn't touch. So hopefully it gets a little more focused, but I'm still digging it.
There you go. It's high quality television, especially for like Disney Plus Marvel, type stuff, right? Compared to some of the other stuff.
It's violent. They're swearing, like they're dropping F-bombs. It's amazing.
Yeah, I like the F-bombs. Yeah. Cyberneticshark, sir. What are your thoughts? Same question to you, sir.
I thought these 2 episodes were absolutely fantastic. Absolutely loved them. You could definitely tell that episode 4 was the reshoot. Just simply the fact that the whole concept was, just throwing Matt into a situation and he has to deal with it. So definitely something I felt was definitely a part of the reshoots when they redid and were revamping the timeline. And also one thing that was mentioned from another that was watching this show with me was the fact that there wasn't a BB report in episode 4.
Oh, that's a good point.
There's something that's always there's usually in every the episodes before that.
Yeah,
there have been, and
they came back in episode 5 and 6. They came back.
Yep.
So I read that whole Frank Punisher scene was actually meant for a later episode. They brought it forward, but then they had to reshoot a couple of things to make it fit this episode. And I was like, man, they did a good job stitching everything together, kind of.
Sorry, meant episode 5, not 4, guys. Episode 5 I'm talking about was a reshoot.
No, you know what? It wasn't. Here's the thing. Episode 5, they said the only episode that wasn't redone or reshot. It was like this because it was a bottle episode.
Okay.
I just read that.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But this episode 5 definitely really cemented Daredevil finally being in the MCU. For the fact that they brought in Kamala Khan's father into this. So we finally got another Miss Marvel kind of mentioned finally. Since Miss Marvel show, came to an end, and then we had the Marvels. So it was great to finally hear her mentioned again. So yeah, I thought episode 5 and 6 were just absolutely fantastic. I loved both of them. I thought they were great. I thought that the storyline worked well. I didn't find it, too mismatched. I didn't feel it was too off-putting, like really going off the line of the story or anything. It wasn't really changed it, and I think that they did a pretty decent job combining them, with the reshoots that they did with the other episodes and stuff like that. So I think that overall, them really doing the reshoots and everything and all that kind of stuff with these 2 episodes, definitely you can see that they're really trying to insert Daredevil finally into the MCU. And I think that's really what, these episodes were trying to do, and kind of why they dropped both of them off at the same time is to really, push the story forward, but also to really cement Daredevil is in the Marvel universe. So I think that, overall, these 2 episodes were absolutely fantastic. I loved them. They're my favorite of the season so far.
Yeah, they were definitely impressive. I'm just a pop culture guy. Keep your opinions to episode 5 on this take, sir, please, and then we'll save your thoughts for episode 6 when we get there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this is tough. Well, okay, like I think episode 4 was good. It's not my favorite, but I think this is where I think the show is more confident. Like you don't feel like it's a reshoot. I think as Imran said before, this is I think the first time you're seeing the show, because the first 4 episodes were you could feel the changes, as you were saying before, like moving pieces together. And I felt like this was the first time I felt like, okay, there was a vision, like there was a story, like they're progressing, obviously this is a battle episode, but I agree with Cyber, it's cool to see, Daredevil like fully integrated the MCU, and it's also good to know where Miss Marvel's at, because we know from the Marvels, if you have seen the film, we're setting up, the Young Avengers / champions, and so I appreciate that, and I always like seeing the father. He's great, and I thought he had great chemistry with Daredevil.
They're being very effective at adding in the MCU connection subtly. You know what I'm saying? Like throughout the series, that there's been stuff that they've been doing where they're making those connections. They have been all throughout the show. Have you noticed that?
No, I haven't noticed that. We'll discuss that with this in episode 6. But last thing to say, I think one thing I think it's been a big plus with this show over some of the Disney Plus shows is the pacing. Like at least the pacing's been better than a lot of other Disney Plus shows. Like at least these 2 episodes were short, but they were not like too short like some of the other ones that we have here. This felt like full on like television. So length, which is good. So I appreciate that. it's not, it cannot never be the original Daredevil series. It had to be something new and fresh. I appreciate this show being fresh and new and taking Daredevil in a direction that we haven't seen him before, but also borrowing comic books from his lore that we're seeing. So I'm very excited to see where they're going to take this character in the future. You know,
that is an important thing to note, is that this is essentially the 4th season of Daredevil, right? If you really think about it, you know what I'm saying? So after 10 years, there had to be changes made, in terms of, the characters and this, the direction of the story, and all that kind of stuff had to happen. That's just a part of the game, I guess. Right. Okay. The episode I'm going to use for my outline for the review of episode 5 is from Collider. Let's see. So it is written by Aidan Kelly. And it starts off with, thus far, Daredevil Born Again is primarily focused on Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk trying to change their old ways and become productive members of society. While Murdock wants to be a straight-shooting lawyer and Fisk wants to be a respectful political figure, they both can't seem to shake their previous professions. Another fight between the devil of Hell's Kitchen and the kingpin of crime seems inevitable, and we can't help but wonder when that moment will come. However, we can safely confirm that episode 5 of Daredevil Born Again does not feature that moment. Instead, this unusually uneven and ultimately inconsequential chapter in Matt's latest story feels rather disjointed, totally inconsistent, and covered in plot holes. It's a shame, given the intriguing concept of putting Matt Murdock in a hostage situation. Plus, he also gets to meet a character who has become something of a fan favorite in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Again, this is not my opinion. This
guy didn't like it. This
is some writer's opinion. So, take that with a grain of salt, guys. It's going to get us through the episode, so I can ask you guys questions. So it's going to work. Once again, bleeding heart and retired superhero Matt Murdock is strapped for cash. So he heads down to his local bank to see if he can get a loan. Who does Marvel's favorite blind attorney meet? None other than Yusuf Khan, Mohan Kapoor, the father of Kamala Khan, Aman Vellani, whose fans previously met and fell in love with during Miss Marvel and the Marvels. One could definitely argue that some of Daredevil Born Again references to the wider MCU feel a little forced, but if that gives us an excuse to see more of Yusuf, we won't complain. Murdock ends up making a pretty pleasant report with the lovable MCU father figure. As you might expect, Khan can't help but share a glowing endorsement for his beloved Kamala, who, unbeknownst to Murdock, is the lighthearted vigilante and Captain Marvel, Brie Larson superfan known as Miss Marvel. Apparently, Kamala is currently in California. It might seem like an innocuous detail, but when we last saw Kamala, she was in the early stages of forming the Young Avengers, with her first recruit being another person who would cross paths with Wilson Fisk, Hawkeye's Kate Bishop, Haley Steinfeld. California, particularly Northern California and San Francisco, just so happens to be the home of Cassie Lang, indicating that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania standout may be the next to join Kamala's prospective band of young heroes. Alas, despite a pleasant conversation with a very pleasant character, Murdock is unable to get the loan he desires, which is basically based off of, the sort of clients that they take in and how profitable the firm is. However, instead of being able to spend the rest of St. Patrick's Day in peace, a gang of Irish mobsters decided to make a move on the bank. As the bank robbers start rounding up hostages, Matt's enhanced hearing, which was cool the first couple times Daredevil Born Again used it, but is now growing a bit repetitive, which I agree, picks up on the commotion. He hangs up his phone call, but not before telling Kristen McDuffie, who's on the other end, to call the police. Wait, how are they supposed to do that if Murdock didn't tell them where to send the police to? So, okay, I'll stop there. That basically explains what, how the introduction of the episode starts, right? And so I'll pose my first questions to the panel based off that parcel of the article. I'll start with you, Cyber. What do you think about the opening of the premise of the episode?
Absolutely love it. Think it's fantastic. Thought the whole hostage situation, him basically getting to be with Yusuf was amazing. I love that whole aspect. I love that it really interconnected the MCU finally to Daredevil. And I love him like chiming about, of course, Kamala, which was absolutely hilarious. And, it really, I felt it was like very similar to like if you were to watch a procedural like Law and Order episode or a stuff like that. It was definitely very similar to that, because if you ever watch Law and Order, Law and Order is, you know, pretty much it's the same every episode, but at the same time they always change something up a little bit by having an episode where one of the characters goes off and has something solo happen and stuff like that. And that's what this definitely feels like. And I think that's what they were really trying to go for here with doing that with this, and, you know, giving you more of the very much the lawyer aspect of Daredevil versus him just being the vigilante Daredevil. So I definitely got that feeling, and I thought it was really done well. And I enjoyed all of it, and I thought it, you know, worked really well at the beginning of this episode, leading up to, you know, them the, you know, bad guys coming in to take the bank hostage. I thought absolutely I loved what Usopp brought to the portion, and what Daredevil himself, Matt Murdock, brought to it. Both of them I thought were just performed super well in their sequence, them interacting with each other. So I thought it was a really solid first opening to this episode that overall I think was just absolutely fantastic. So really solid opening, I thought.
Okay. Andre's the pop culture guy, sir.
Yeah, so I thought the beginning was very good. I always enjoyed the father for Miss Marvel. He's such a funny character, and I mean, right away he had great chemistry with Charlie Cox, Daredevil. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good bottle episode, and it was. I was so surprisingly surprised, because sometimes, you know, people, you know, I can understand, you know, we watch old television like from different genres, right? And there's always a bottle episode or a filler episode, right? And sometimes it could be good or bad. This one was a very good one because, you know, we have a character we were very familiar with, from a previous you know, project of the MCU universe, right? And I like that. And, you know, we are a bar again. I mean, if you haven't read the comics or in general superhero stuff, I always like the story to see our hero in their like daily, you know, secret identities, and being stuck in this like hostage situation. We've seen that before, and, you know, in situations like that. I mean, Batman has that like a couple times where he had to be Bruce Wayne, had to get out. You know, like the Dark Knight, when, you know, the Joker raided his party, he had to like be Bruce Wayne and get to the part where he has to get his bat suit, you know. So those stories are interesting, and I think they did a really good job, because one of the cool things about Daredevil is his senses, you know, his heightened sense, and it's so cool to see how, you know, later we'll discuss this, you know, in the episode, how he used them, and like, and, you know, and of course Matt is so good at talking, you know. You have to understand, lawyers lie, you know, like they do lie to like help their client to like beat over the system sometimes, you know. And so, you know, Matt has to lie to these criminals that there's something in the vault, and, you know, stuff like that. And that's interesting. And he needs to, you know, not only to protect the people, you know, in the bank. You see him having, you know, Yusuf to go along with this plan. And yeah, it's really incredible stuff here. And I think this one thing I appreciate about this episode, it looks so good. You know, like it feels like a Netflix episode of the show. You know, like I love the cinematography. It feels very like Law and Order, but like in a, you know, more bigger budget. So I dug this opening. It just does everything right in the beginning, and I was ready hooking. And I love the little touch of the St. Patrick's Day holiday here. That's cool. It kind of reminded me of the Fugitive a little bit. So, but yeah, I thought this was a good way to start the episode.
Imran, what are your thoughts, sir?
You know what? I love that they're doing those little interstitial shots of just New York City, kind of like that's panning around people, and it just cut. The show feels very New York, and I think that's part of the charm. But just like you guys, loved seeing Miss Marvel's dad. The little Funko Pop was hilarious, also, and it was Matt doesn't know who this is. I thought that was very interesting. He's like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. But I was like, oh my god, could they meet? Could they? He did invite him over for dinner. Will we see Miss Marvel? I got very excited for a second.
Eddie shouted out Jersey City. I love Jersey City. I used to have family in Jersey City. I used to spend time there when I was a kid. I used to love Jersey City.
Yeah, and then even Matt goes, I like it better than Hoboken. And what does he goes? That's the best thing anybody's ever said about Jersey City. That's the nicest thing. So Jersey City shout out. But this whole setup is great. Who doesn't love a bank heist? Right? It reminded me of like Inside Man or Dog Day Afternoon or all these other shows. But every procedural crime show always has an episode where you're a hostage at a bank. So it's a perfect self-contained little thing for him to get caught in, because you're like, okay, how's he going to help him out without his costume? Because he is not fully suited up yet. And now he's got to take these guys out. But they do tie it into everything. It's Lucas' gang. The gang that Fisk wanted them to pay the other guy. I guess that's why they were robbing the bank for that 1.8 million, so they could pay the whatever they were charged with paying. And that comes in the next episode. But yeah, great start.
Yeah, I mean, Imran, look, I think we all probably enjoyed and appreciated this episode. It was a good standalone episode, but it certainly didn't move the plot forward. And you could, and one could understand the point that article's making, right? Some of the things that they're saying or whatever kind of, you know what I mean? You could kind of understand the merit to some of that.
See, and this is why, like I said earlier, I don't think this episode was changed. And originally, I think when it was an 18 episode thing, it was all going to be like these kind of standalone episodes was kind of what they were going to do. So they kept largely this one the way it was, I guess. But it's interesting. If it was a show that went on for years, you would see a lot of these standalone episodes. You'd have to just keep it. It's not a filler, but it gives you a little bit of character and fun stuff. It's like an issue of a comic book, really. Like, this happened and it's resolved, and then you just move on.
That's true, most definitely. And shout out to Brandon and Dom, in the comments. We appreciate you guys. But what do you think, Cyber, Andres? You guys have any opinions or thoughts on what these guys are talking about in the comment section about Karen potentially coming back this season? I don't think Karen's going to be a part of the show for the rest of the season, personally. I know she's going to be back for season 2. Do you guys have anything on that, Cyber?
As far as I know, she'll pop up again before the end of the season, I believe.
You think so? Okay.
Either in a flashback or like just briefly, nothing like big and major. But other than that, I mean, a lot of people, I think, I know some people really love Karen and some people really hate Karen. And so, for me, she doesn't bother me, but I could care less about her character because I really don't feel she adds anything.
I forgot. I forgot about your disposition towards Karen as a character.
He doesn't like Karens. I don't blame you. She's a Karen.
It's pretty rare to find a Daredevil fan that doesn't like Karen.
But if you look up, they're shooting season 2 right now. You can look up set photos.
Yeah,
Karen, she's there.
She's in it with wearing a red wig, like this bright violet wig. It's really strange.
That's why I said that I know for a fact that she'll be in season 2, but I just don't know about this season. It really seems like they moved her all the way to San Francisco.
Yeah,
purpose to get her out of the story.
They brought her in the beginning just to connect it to the Netflix show, and then just wrote her out, and then the rest of it is the stuff they were already going to do. Anyways,
yeah, I say this before with Brandon and Dom. I think we'll probably set her up again, either a post-credit scene or a cameo to set up the second season. Like, there has been a run where Daredevil has been in San Francisco for a long period of time.
Right.
So if they're gonna do that next season, that would be kind of cool. So I feel like that's where we're gonna see Karen. It's either a cameo towards the end of the series or a post-credit scene. Yeah. That's what happened. And then I want to bring up the Foggy thing, just like briefly. I mean, if they're gonna do the storyline where Foggy did fake his death, it could be a possibility. We'll need to see.
He's not dead. He's not dead. He's gonna be back. I'm telling you. He's not dead.
It could happen. I mean, the fact that they
Coming back.
teased the fact they teased it in the first the first episode of Borgia, it makes sense.
Listen,
So
Bullseye could have shot Foggy right through the head. He's Bullseye.
It's always hard when I pipe you down. Johnson & Johnson spilled on the ground. Watch LeBron get gay for Puff. Your favorite rapper get gay for Puff. Till tonight when I beat again. MDMA in your drink, my friend. That amphetamine give me the strength I need to proceed. Strength I need to clap cheeks. My thoughts this wish I could find out who snitched to the FBI in the morning about 6. Taking more cocks and dicks. You and me taking pics. Making flicks, baby oil being squeezed on. Still can't believe the porn. Give anything to feel Meek's breath on my neck. Even though LeBron take pipe the best. Monday morning, they all woke up sober. And the butts hurt for 15 days.
Yeah. there you
Oh,
go,
they
baby.
so you miss those Diddy parties. People are like, man, I miss those.
I can't. I'm telling you right now. I would have went to a Diddy party if I ever would have got an invite. I would have attended.
I thought you were there. No.
yeah.
I would have. No, I mean, I never fucked with Diddy, but I would have went to a Diddy party without question. It would. I would have felt comfortable there. I think. In general, like I wouldn't have felt. It wouldn't have been like it wouldn't have been like I would have been okay with whatever was going on. It would have been pretty tame.
That's
for
tame
me.
compared to the shit you go to. Yeah.
Yeah, it would just be whatever to me, kind of, But yeah, I would have went to a Diddy party. Why not? Although I don't know what's up with all the crazy baby oil and all that shit. But that's a good meme, though. I like that. That's pretty funny. I like the jokes about piping LeBron and all that shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's good. Okay, so all right. So back to this very interesting individualistic episode of Daredevil episode 5, Born Again. This article states Daredevil Born Again's bank heist episode isn't as thrilling as it should be. There you go. Again,
Yo,
that's
fuck
their
this
opinion.
guy. I'm gonna just say it right there. Whoever wrote this article, you can fucking go jump off a bridge. Continue.
I know I fucked up, man. Anyways, Matt returns to the bank where the robbery is taking place and is quickly noticed by the would-be assailants. The leader of the sinister crew, Devlin, quickly adds Murdoch to the hostages, all while mocking his blindness and profession as a lawyer. I like the actor, Cillian O'Sullivan, that played the character Devlin. The criminals also probing Yusuf, the assistant manager of the bank, to see if he can open the vault for them so they can get a specific diamond being held in a deposit box. Getting closer than ever to breaking his promise to cease his activities as Daredevil, Matt assists Yusuf in stopping the bank robbers whilst the police buy them time. That's essentially the gist of it. As to be perfectly honest, this particular episode of Daredevil Born Again feels significantly superfluous. Superfluous. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes,
Meaning
that's
unnecessary.
true. Both in terms of the episode, thank you, Rod, and its function in the wider inaugural season. Aside from Matt working with Yusuf to find a way out of this tense situation, most of this episode is jam-packed with a lot of sequences that don't really matter. That's especially true of the hostage negotiations between Devlin and Detective Angie Kim, which feel like a colossal waste of time. There's even a painfully awkward sequence where Devlin demands Kim tells him a joke, and it feels like it goes on for an eternity.
Yeah,
It's
that
not
part
only
was
offbeat either, as the others include a small but cheesy glinting sound effect when the jewel is shown on screen, and an odd moment when Murdoch puts on a mask to beat down Devlin. The fight scene is cool and all, but why would Murdoch bother concealing his face if he was wearing the same clothes and would likely be recognized anyway? It doesn't seem to serve a purpose beyond offering more Daredevil iconography. So I'll stop there. Essentially, again, this is you guys can say what you want about the opinions of this article. Feel free. If you have any sort of rebuttals, of this guy's opinions. But basically, it does break down the events of the heist sequence overall in terms of what kind of interactions we have. There's all the different interactions we have with the different robbers, and the different aspects of the robbery, you know what I mean, that go on. that are interesting. That the leader character, that is really good. I think he does a great job in this one episode arc for him. Like he was, did a great job. Added a lot to the episode. I don't know, what I think about the whole diamond deal, like what the whole diamond thing was all about.
Yeah.
But it was cool seeing the team up of Miss Marvel's dad. That was great placement of him in the episode. Great connective tissue for the MCU. Andre's Pop Culture Guy, sir, what are your thoughts on that whole heist sequence from start to finish?
I mean, pretty good, pretty amazing. I gotta say, I just love how the show creatively uses Matt's powers. So, and I always like when Matt
You don't think
gets,
they're overdoing it a little bit with some of that? With some of it, like maybe the article said.
He hears everything, right?
I mean, yeah, he hears everything. Well, I don't question it. It's just like how powerful he is with his senses. Because I know in season 3, the spoilers. If you haven't seen season 3, you need to see it. Like he lost some of his like heightened senses during season 3, and I mean, he could easily grow back those senses like slowly, over the years, right? I'm just curious how powerful he is, and like how because like the Netflix show had like a very clear vision of what his powers were, like he could see things in like almost like a burning hell.
Yeah.
Which we haven't seen yet in the show, curiously. And then he did hear like far, as we see in this season. I agree. It does overplay in certain sections, but then other times it is really effective in certain sections. So, I'm not too fussed about it. It's just an aesthetic thing they're doing to like tell the story in a very visual way, which is cool. I don't need nothing to like. I don't need dialogue to fit me with these expeditions. It's better to visually tell me, And Matt has a really cool power and use it, Yusuf is funny here. I always like I was worried he was gonna get hurt or almost get killed by that robber, because I every time you see a ball, it's like they don't know the combination,
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And man, I gotta say, Matt is gonna be the best like dad friend ever. Like, I never expected this could be the friendship we need now in 2025 for Marvel. And I just like he's like telling him, "Don't worry, we'll get the right key." The only nitpick about this heist, I guess is this today. It was only my one watch in the morning. I didn't have a chance to watch both of these. I think I wanted the heist plot, the bad guys plot more clear because I didn't know it was connected to the mafia paying Keepin because it is crucial because when we get to episode 6, we got confirmation about that, but like I think we need that more clear because I think that's why they were there, right? And I think even Matt knows what was going on. He kind of knew who was behind it, and then the episode. So that's my nitpick really. It's just more clear, but then at the same time it was really fun. I love the highlight. I don't know why people think this is the worst episode, but like my highlight is when I always like the heist movies when they like particularly time the plan. I love how Matt particularly planned when the cops going to raid the bank.
Yeah, you can hear them, and he can hear them counting. It's great.
And that for me was the best moment for this episode. Just the way he did that was so cool. And at least okay, like keep the hostages, being safe. They cannot be hit by the bullets. And then you see Matt can help the cops to like subdue the criminals, which we see. He knocked like 1 or 2, right? So that was really cool. And just wrapping up, I like the twist that one of the hostages is working with them. That was cool. That's that's something I do see a couple of times in police procedures. Like Credible Minds did this one time in one of their seasons. So yeah, I dug this finale. I like it. I like this is more lean because when we get into episode 6 later, because Emma, you brought up like I like this show. I think there's too many storylines
Mhm.
now, and I kind of feel like we're just not like slim down the storylines to be satisfying right now. What I appreciate about this episode, it was lean, mean. Like,
Mhm.
okay, here's the bottle episode. Here's a hostage situation. A heist, and it's like simple, and it was engaging. Where like I love Kingpin, but I'm so bored with the whole mayor stuff, and it's like, just please get to the real Kingpin.
Mhm.
And I understand where you were coming from. That I like this season, but it's just it's lacking something, and I feel like there's just too much storyline that's going on. That I'm like, okay, I can
Those are,
take it.
I think that's all very fair, Andres. Do you think that it's surprising that they would go with a style of episode like this, where it's a one-off, that doesn't really push the story at all forward? You know what I mean? But very entertaining episode, but one that
Yeah.
doesn't move the plot at all. You know what I mean? Really,
No.
is that surprising to you that they would go in that direction with episode 5?
No, I was not surprised about this, especially before the reshoots. Like, this is always traditional when you do, like, there's seasons where we're in big, how you say it, big storyline, and then we take a break from the big storyline, and then we come back to it.
That's what TV used to be. That's right.
It used to be.
That's
And-
how TV is.
Yeah, and I mean, even the original Daredevil series did this. There was one episode where they took a break from it, and then there was something like they were building like the seed of like, okay, this is going to be a major thing coming later in the season. So I was not surprised.
Yeah, but they were doing 18 episodes.
That was 13.
It was 13.
13 episodes.
The original
Still.
series. I know. It's different, but I mean, even 10 episodes, 9 episodes, seasons I've seen had done this before, so I can vouch for that. But yeah, I was not bothered by that. It's a good thing, because sometimes you get a little kind of tired with the big storyline. Sometimes it's like I need a break, and I'm ready to go back and to this big storyline they're doing.
I'll tell you guys out there, you can very easily sometimes, when you buy Pepsi, if you buy it online through Walmart or whatever delivered, it's very easy to accidentally buy Pepsi Zero instead of regular Pepsi.
Yeah, I like the Zero. Coke Zero is really good.
I don't like it that much, so when it happens, it really sucks for me, because I'm like, I like regular Pepsi.
Better for you. It's better for you, bro. It tastes the same. No, it doesn't taste the same.
I don't drink that much soda, bro. I don't drink that much soda, Imran. Okay. So if I'm gonna drink soda, I want
you want the full sugar.
I don't want Diet Coke. You know what I'm saying? I want I want.
Coke Zero is amazing because it's zero and it tastes a lot like Coke and not like Diet Coke. I don't know what kind of magic elves they have making this potion, but I fucking love Coke Zero because it tastes like Coke, and you look at the label and it's just everything's zero, and I'm like, what's even in this? What am I drinking?
I can drink Diet Coke if I have to or whatever. It's not the worst thing in the world to drink. You know,
that
what I'm
has
saying?
a flavor though. Yeah, that's got like the saccharin aspartame flavor.
I like Mountain Dew personally. I'm a Mountain Dew guy.
Mountain Dew is great. I love that. I'm with you, Jeff. I don't like these zeros. I mean, I like zero with Pepsi, but not Coke. The original Coke is still the best. I don't know why.
And they just doing that to market diet soda to like the younger generation because they don't like the word diet or whatever. So they're like, all right, let's go call it fucking zero.
Zero?
Yeah.
I never thought about that. That is so funny. Yeah, it is true.
everything is about diet. You've got like all these young people drinking all these cider, all these seltzer drinks, these seltzer alcoholic beverages. You know, they're like they're so weak. They're like weaker than wine coolers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like who the fuck would want to drink that shit, man?
Yeah. Just drink ginger ale. Ginger ale is good. I like it.
Yeah, that's a good point, sir. Ginger ale is good. All right, Andres, I'm going to switch over here to Mr. Imran, Jock and Nerd. Imran, what are your thoughts on the whole heist? The whole layout of that whole heist deal from start to finish.
I mean, the heist was good. It was cool seeing how Matt I was gonna try to figure out how Matt's gonna do this. I love that moment where they're letting 2 hostages out, and they pick Matt and the girl, and now he's got to figure out how to talk that motherfucker out of sending him out and send the husband, and he does. And then it's so smart to be like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And so then he just takes those dudes out. Yes, him cracking the safe, also very cool. Because part of me was like, Yusuf kept fucking talking. I was like, Yusuf, shut the fuck up. Don't you see what he's doing? The man needs to listen to the wall to unlock. And Matt did it while Yusuf's talking, and he's talking to him just by feel. That was cool. A cool part of his powers. He could feel them and hear the vibration, and you see the lock. And then him snapping that dude's leg in the alley. Fantastic bone crunch fucking snap. And yeah, I like how, the jewel is presented at the end. So there's no question about, is this thing going to turn up later? It's all wrapped up. Look, this is what TV used to be. This is a little one-off thing. You take a break from the main thing. It should give you a little bit of character, and then you can go back to it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I rather, like, this is a version of this show that could go on for years, right? Every week, Matt gets into some fucking situation. Like, you could write so many of these.
And there's no Kingpin in this episode at all, right?
Yeah, no, it's all just this bank robbery.
Yeah, it's really interesting that they went in that direction, Imran. Like I said to Andres,
I like it.
Surprising,
I like it. I like the risk. I like them taking the chance and doing it.
They're definitely going in their own direction with this show so far. That they borrowed some stuff from Netflix and all that, but like they're going in their own direction. Without question. I think that was the goal, and we lost Andres, the pop culture guy. We're down.
He jumped to the future. When he comes back in, to him, no time will have passed. He would blipped out, and he's gonna blip back in his future timeline, our present timeline.
It's possible he could be time traveling right now,
but he won't know that he ever left or missed anything, because him it'll be because he's a time traveler.
That's true. Anyways, all right. So, anything else, Imran? Any other thoughts that you have, sir? I mean, I gave you that whole swath of episode to chew on, sir. Any other tidbits you want to drop?
No, I'm good. I want to hear what Cyber thinks of the heist. It's a good heist.
Okay, I agree with you, sir. I'm with you on that. All right, Cyber, sir. What are your thoughts, sir, on that whole, that whole big ass, chunk of the episode of that whole heist deal?
Absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. I thought that the bad guy was absolutely hilarious. His Irish accent was on point. Him and Matt's kind of back and forth talking there for a few times was super fun. And then when Matt goes to work and starts kicking the ass out of those people, I was just like, yes, action. And we got that great, like, just like kicking ass and everything. And like when the gun's about to fall and he grabs it, that was freaking awesome.
I was
good.
like, yeah,
I was like, damn, that's awesome. And him like just taking these guys out, like he basically, like, he has not stopped being Daredevil was, I think, fantastic too. I like it that he just like basically is going right back to it, and like not even like, oh, I haven't stopped really, and I love that aspect. And I think that like him taking down all those goons is really awesome. I mean, Yusuf and him, their whole relationship through this whole episode is fantastic, especially when he's like trying to open the safe and he's talking to him. It's absolutely hilarious. And you're just like, he's like, you're not going to be able to open that. And like, he has no idea how good Matt's hearing is. And get to see him like do that and unlock that safe was just like freaking awesome. And then finding out that the one box it's a diamond of some sort. You're just kind of like, makes me think of a certain affinity stone. Yeah. And so I was like, that was so freaking awesome. And then when he like takes on the other guys and just like starts kicking their butts and stuff like that, and basically kind of just rats them out, go, hey, like, I have your diamond that you were looking for. Let the people go, or you're screwed, basically, and SWAT popping up and everything is awesome. And as he's walking down and he knocks that one guy out on the beam was freaking awesome. And then when he goes after the main guy there and kicks his ass, I was just like, that was like so freaking awesome. And when he like basically curb stops his ass was fucking awesome. When he like breaks his freaking leg and then pounds him out, I'm like, damn. I was like, that's just freaking awesome. And I loved it. I loved all the action in it. It wasn't the longest action in the episode, but it was still plenty enough for me to get my action filling.
Yeah.
And I thought that they did a good job with that, because they really had to kind of include it along with the rest of the type of story that they were trying to, tell. So I think that it was a good, exchange of both types of qualities. And, I think that they did a really good job there. So yeah, fantastic, portion of the episode. And then when that chick finds out that she's holding not the diamond, but a freaking hard candy was absolutely priceless.
Yeah.
The butterscotch, that was priceless.
Well, let me ask you guys this though. Yusuf now knows this is not a normal blind individual. But do you think Matt knows that he'll be cool with it? Because like Yusuf saw this blind man do some crazy things. But he also has a daughter who's a fucking superhero, right? So he may put two and two together and be like, look, I won't tell anybody.
True. And then, of course, we have the great ending.
Okay.
Did you go that far, sir? Were you completing the episode or not?
Yes, I believe so, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. So, I mean, and then they come back and they have that little, like, wonderful little gathering again, him and Yusuf, and him just checking on him was really awesome. I love it. I love how Daredevil is very, like, even though he's this vigilante, he wants to kill these people and kick their ass and stuff like that, he always has a great affinity for those and showing his, like, soft side, of him, that he does care about people. And I think that's great. And I think that's the one thing that's made Charlie Cox's version of Daredevil so successful is his great mixture of the two different types of kind of thought processes. He knows he's a vigilante. He knows what he's doing, be considered illegal and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, because he's such a compassionate person, he realizes that there's no other way to get justice unless we do it this way. So I think that's a good combination and a good overall story arc for this Daredevil and why this Daredevil's been so successful. And I think that's kind of, probably one of the reasons why the Daredevil movie failed so badly is, Ben Affleck just was not a good Daredevil. He did not encompass it very well. He just didn't seem like Daredevil. I mean, I've seen other Daredevils in the Incredible Hulk TV movies and the series and stuff like that, and they just have always been a lot different than what they decided to do with that Daredevil movie. So Charlie Cox definitely, I feel, is Daredevil superiorly for the MCU. So I think he's been doing a great job. So great.
Oh, yeah.
Episode.
Oh, yes. I didn't mean to cut you off there. I was going to double back on what you said. He's there's no doubt that Charlie Cox is a much better Daredevil than Ben Affleck ever was, without question. Charlie Cox just really seems to fit as Daredevil, really well. So I don't know where Mr. Pop Culture Guy went, but what do you guys think about this article? Let me just kind of wrap it up real quick. Since you heard me go ahead and read the whole thing anyway, I'd like to hear what your opinions are on the ending of the article in terms of what this writer thought of episode 5. Despite being the shortest episode of the series yet, the 5th episode of Daredevil Born Again does not feel like a necessary addition at all. It is still with far too much filler. Even worse, it doesn't really move the needle much for the overarching plot. So far, we've gotten a tease of a Punisher-inspired cult of rogue police officers and a serial killer making art out of their victims, but this episode doesn't seem interested in any of that. This is officially the halfway point for the big return of Daredevil, and the momentum it built from a riveting first episode that made some audacious choices is starting to slow down. Telling smaller, more episodic stories in a primarily serialized series is a great and everything, but when it doesn't do anything to add more context to a character or the story they're a part of, it can make the entire episode feel unnecessary. In this specific case, Daredevil boarding in episode 5 feels like it could be skipped almost entirely if it wasn't made worthwhile by an intriguing setting for Matt Murdock and the welcome return of Yusuf Khan. There you go. So I'll go over to you, Cyber. What do you think? Do you have any thoughts on that? That writer?
Oh my god, I think this guy went in right from the get-go hating this episode. That's how this article makes me feel. Like he had all he cared about was saying all the negative things. He had nothing positive to say, and that he just was like, "Fuck this episode," basically. And that's how it made me feel. Like it did not feel like he gave it a chance at all. Like he already had his mind set up that he hated this episode, and it was kind of like.
Do you think he made any credible points though at all?
No credible points whatsoever. Because I think the episode is perfect from beginning to end. I don't see any flaws with it. To me, it was a great, perfect episode. You know, not everyone's gonna agree, but for me, for this episode, for this season, I think it was absolutely perfect.
Okay, Imran, you heard me read that whole article. Do you have anything to say?
Look, some of his points, I see what he may have some, like, you could skip it, you're not going to miss anything, you know, it doesn't carry on the story, but what's great about that is it is all Daredevil character, and it's just showing you a day in the life. It's showing another angle. It's a little break. I think that's why they put 5 and 6 out at the same this because you got one of just this self-contained episode, and then you got one that jumps back to a larger thing. It depends what you're looking for, and this episode didn't have what that guy was looking for, but I'm enjoying the ride, and I didn't mind it that much because you got some good action, and you got fucking Kamala Khan's dad, which that's all. Yeah, that saves it for me. But he seems a little salty, so I do agree with. I think he went into it with just a negative attitude there.
Yeah. No, okay. Andres, do you heard what I had to say about the article? Did you have any thoughts on that article in general?
No, I think he is being a little too harsh. I just think that it's not the type of episode you will like. It's a battle episode. If you don't appreciate it, it's not for you. So you enjoyed the more big storyline, you know, thread that we having this season. So episode 6 is more of your cup of tea. So but you know, I understand some of his complaints, but you know, I don't think it's the worst episode of the season. I think last week's episode was kind of weak. I feel like, but yeah, except for the Punisher scene, that was great. So I thought this was a step up from episode 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know where he's coming from, and I don't know, like. Do you guys think this should have been like the Netflix model of just dropping everything out? Because I mean I like that we got the 2 episodes back to back, but I don't know. I feel like if we had all this storyline in one package, I think you could appreciate the season. But I don't know.
I like it. I personally like it. I would feel the same way if I didn't do the Bleeding Edge, right? I like the weekly drop. I like the standard, normal, what we're used to with television, turnover of the one, every week drop of that episode. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy that aspect of television. I like the drop of the new episode every week, you know what I mean? Like having to wait for it to come out and all that. You know what I mean? I think I get why some people like to binge, but like me personally, I don't enjoy my TV that way.
No, I understand. I'm fine with it. Either way,
it works for Netflix. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how they do it. It works. You know what I mean? And like, don't get me wrong. I've definitely binged some shit before on Netflix, but I prefer the weekly dealing.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I don't know. We'll talk later, but some reason the viewership is low, And I just feel like, you just have to wait for people to catch up with the season. There's like other things that's going on.
The viewership has been down. On the first episode, the first 2 episodes of Daredevil Born Again, the audience numbers were down compared to like Agatha, which I thought was really surprising. You know what I'm saying? Like Agatha did better, numbers wise, in terms of viewership on those first 2 episodes. So, you can't blame Daredevil for that. If Disney Plus has lost a lot of subscribers in the last couple of years, there's a lot of other blame to be pushed out on of other people. It's not Daredevil.
No, it's just timing. And having everyone talk about the show. It's like you need that for your show. And
it stretches out the buzz, right? They get people talking about it longer. Oftentimes you drop a show, people binge it, and then like nobody's talking about it like 2 weeks later.
Yeah, there's no water cooler. There's no water cooler effect at all if there's no weekly drop.
Yeah,
true.
It gives you something to look forward to.
That's true. Shogun wants that. Shogun was like
right?
that.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So I agree. Yeah, I'm not. Like I'm fine with the benching thing, but like sometimes it doesn't work with other shows. I just feel like it works for Daredevil for some reason. I just like because the kind of story you tell with this character, right? Like it's just something I just need to bring out because that's been the talk of town, with the ratings and stuff like that. I just kind of you have to be patient to get to get everyone back to talk about Daredevil after the season's over, So just me. But yeah, I disagree with the writer. I think he's wrong. I just think he's a little too harsh on this episode. It's well made. As I say before, it's better than episode 4. Like this was a step up from episode 4. Thank goodness.
Okay. All right. So let's rate this episode then. Imran, why don't you go first? What's your rating for episode 5?
Oh, I'll give this like an 8. I liked it. I like the self-contained nature of it. I like to look at what a episodic Daredevil show is. I think that's what's throwing people off. They're doing something different, but what we used to do, which is episodic television. So now getting used to these long overarching storylines, seasons, when you go back to that, it's a little jarring. But I'd give it a solid 8. I enjoyed it.
I'll give it a 9. I think it hits the sweet spot for the length of the episode is perfect. And it has all the good things that you want for an MCU kind of deal. It's got the MCU connections, all that. You know what I mean? That pays off. It's a solid episode. What do you think, Cyber?
10 out of 10. Loved it. Excellent. Fantastic. It had everything I wanted and more. And the fact that they brought in Kamala's dad, that gave it an automatic 10 out of 10 for me because I absolutely love his character. And it was just great to see him back, especially after some of the controversy he had, unfortunately, a couple years ago. And I was glad to see him back as a character. So fantastic. He was awesome.
Andre's the pop culture guy.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10. I think it's definitely like a step up from episode 4. I mean, you got me to have one of my favorite characters' father in the show, which is great. You got the Funko Pop was really great. And the fact that we had a joke where he could not see the Funko Pop and doesn't know this character was hilarious. I thought this was a well-made episode. Like, well-made, cleared. I like how lean it was. I love the runtime. It was well-paced. So I like this episode. Really love it.
Okay. All right, folks, that is our wrap up on episode 5. I'm going to play a trailer real quick and give everybody here on the panel a break before we do episode 6.
Thank you for finding the time.
I will admit, it's not entirely unpleasant seeing you again. A lot of time has passed. By the look of it, you've come up in the world.
I could say the same about you.
The mayor serves his city. I can see you're not entirely convinced.
Can you blame me? I I can't shake the feeling that you're gaming the system.
Why did you stop being a vigilante?
The line was crossed.
It's hard to come to terms with a violent nature. Hating the power it has over us.
This city can't go unchecked.
Sometimes peace needs to be broken. And chaos must reign.
Am I putting the hatchet down? I was raised to believe in grace. But I was also raised to believe in retribution.
Okay. Well, that was an enjoyable break. I like that. Okay, so Daredevil Born Again, episode 6, Excessive Force. Now, this one, as far as the outline goes, this article is from theringer.com.
Okay.
So, as it outlines, after being teased at the beginning and end of episode 4, Muse found the emergence as a central antagonist, while Murdoch and Fisk's secretive past begin to bleed into the present. Muse's body count grows large enough that Murdoch and Fisk learn about his handiwork in episode 6. The disturbed artist uses his victim's blood to paint murals across the city in quick succession. The emergence of the serial killer serves as a call for both Murdoch and the new mayor of New York City to change their methods by reverting to their old ways. Murdoch is approached by Angela, White Tiger's daughter, while having a meeting with Kirsten at their office. Angela has discovered that her uncle, the White Tiger, had been investigating a number of disappearances around the city before his death, and she asks for Matt's help in finishing his work. Murdoch refuses, much to Angela's frustration, rightfully claiming that there isn't much he can do in his capacity as a lawyer for Murdoch and McNuffie. But when Cherry later informs him that he's received word of a serial killer who's claimed upward of 60 victims, Murdoch begins to look into Angela's findings on his own. Fisk learns of Muse when the sanitation department informs him that it's been unable to wash away the massive murals painted across the city due to the nature of their chemical composition, which includes human blood. The mayor sees the masked killer as a political opportunity to make good on his campaign promise to combat the rise of vigilantes and masked individuals. Fisk assembles an anti-vigilante task force of handy-picked crooked cops and empowers them with unchecked authority and benefits, letting them shed their body cams and giving them the overtime pay that Fisk had previously stripped them of. In essence, Fisk transforms the NYPD subculture of Punisher wannabes, such as Officer Powell, who are quick to abuse their power to achieve their desired results, into an organized group under his control. So, in the actual episode, this basically does flush out sort of how the episode does start off. It does delve into mostly, the discovering or the information relating to Muse, that they laid out in the article, essentially. Besides that, there's also some stuff that happens in the introduction and in the first couple scenes that start the episode, where you see the guy come in there that used to be that is one of like the crime bosses that shows up at Kingpin's mayoral office, to talk to Kingpin, right? That happens, okay? And then, right off the bat, right? So we have, for the first time, we have like the organized crime part of like the Kingpin shit, crossing over directly over into the mayoral part, right?
That was
That's
Luca. That's Luca, right? That's the guy whose gang was in the last episode.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
That
Yeah, Luca,
and Fisk increases the text, buddy. He goes, all right, now you owe me
Yeah.
1.8. You're gonna give him 1.8. You're gonna give me the rest, you fucker.
Yeah, it's a good scene.
It's very Sopranos almost.
Yes. And you also at one point, right, somewhere, not in the opening, but down the line, you actually do see Muse in person out there painting one of his murals and all that. So you see him out there in the show, doing his thing. You see him take young girls, you know what I mean, that want to take a picture with him or whatever, basically, I'll ask you guys for your first thoughts on the episode, just based off what I just laid out there from the article in terms of the revelations of Muse, and the reactions of Matt Murdock and Kingpin to the situation. And I will start off with you, Imran.
Well, unlike the last episode, a lot of shit's going on in this episode. There's a lot of storylines. In the beginning, you have like Matt praying, and then he has that conversation with Heather about being a hostage, and she tells him she's writing a vigilante book and wants to talk to Frank Castle, and he laughs at her. And then you have
that was weird.
Yeah, that was weird, right?
She really kind of overdid it a little bit with that, I thought.
She might be, you can't have Frank meet your girlfriend.
There might have been something going on there.
Or is she like testing him? Does she know? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does she know his secret identity is what I was wondering. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that where they were trying to go with that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So they're getting through all these things. And then I just found it was interesting. Like Matt found Muse very quickly. That he, like in this episode, he finds out they've been slow playing him. They've been showing him clips, but in this one episode, he finds out about Muse and fucking finds him and takes him down and almost gets him very quickly.
Hold on, we haven't gotten that far yet.
No, I'm just saying, it was just like it all kind of happened quickly when Angela went missing and stuff. But the beginning was just more than moving pieces around. For all the other characters to catch us up,
Do you like the introduction or the use of the girl that actually does become the White Tiger in the comics?
Oh, his niece. The niece, hopefully, well, she just got to put the amulet on. You have it. Just put it on. Just wear it. Something might happen.
Okay. Cyber, what are your thoughts, sir?
So the beginning of this episode is really solid too, as well. I felt we have kind of an interesting kind of like once again kind of showing Matt's personal life type of deal, and kind of getting an idea of kind of where this person is at and kind of their thought process and everything. And, we also get kind of, an idea of, where Matt is a little bit at, with this relationship too, as well. Because if you think about it, like in this relationship, it seems like this is probably one of his, I feel, longest of the series relationships that I feel he's had in any of the seasons that I've seen. And, I think that it's definitely an interesting little take, this person that, the gal that plays his girlfriend / or love interest, whatever you want to call her. And you kind of get a vibe that there's something more to her that meets the eye, and you're not sure exactly what it is yet. And they kind of keep hitting at it, that there's more to her than that. And just like, Imran was how, she definitely was kind of hinting around maybe to figure things out about if he's Daredevil or not. That is very possible. I think that's very likely. Especially because with some of the things she was saying, it was like definitely sounds like she was asking him questions, not like just stating a fact or stating something. It actually sounded like questions she was asking him to get ideas, to get like pieces that she could piece together, basically. And you definitely got that vibe from that beginning sequence. I'm sorry, where are we going, Jeff?
All the way up to where Fisk is told by what's going on with Muse and the killings and all that, and Matt knows about it now.
Okay, so that section includes when the niece of White Tiger comes and sees him at the office. Correct? Okay.
Yeah.
And so we have that sequence. I feel was very interesting. Her basically, trying to go to Matt for help, but he basically, still trying to kind of stay that lawyer persona and not his vigilante persona. Basically is, you get that kind of drift, and she gets kind of all pissy and everything, decides to go after Muse herself, and just kind of like, that is fucking stupid. Seriously, dude, this guy has killed 60 to 80 women, I believe they've mentioned, and he's a serial killer.
And then she goes down in the tunnel. I'm just going to go down in the tunnel.
Let's go after this guy because, somebody's got to do it. And so you got to get that, thing like she's trying to play that kind of victim card at the same time as well, you should do something, because I thought I could count on you type of deal. And, you can definitely see Matt kind of being conflicted by that in that sequence. And I think that, Charlie Cox does a good job of portraying that and does a really good job. And, of course we have, when Fisk finally finds out about the Muse, I think it's kind of interesting that we definitely are seeing a completely different type of Wilson Wilson, Mr. Kingpin in this, because he definitely is a lot more Wilson than he is Kingpin so far in this season. And so seeing him try to be this mayor type of character, you can definitely see him the wheels turning in his head, he wants to go right back to how he was. Really kind of shows kind of the different evolution of Wilson Fisk here, and how D'Onofrio is doing such a great job of giving this kind of new era of Fisk, basically coming off of what happened to him and the Hawkeye to
Echo,
thank you. It's so bad I can't remember the name.
Nobody wants
Echo. Yeah. From Echo and Hawkeye, basically in the MCU, and we're going. He's taking the information he had from the first 3 seasons of Daredevil and having to compute that into this new characterization. It's amazing what he's doing, and this scene really shows that, because his take on this, on Muse and him being the serial killer and everything they're telling him, and then he just starts laughing about it at one point. You're just kind of okay. He's kind of thinking to himself, he's like, I used to do things like that, and kill people and stuff like that. So I think it's kind of funny, that he starts laughing there and, kind of giving you a little bit of that old flair of Kingpin a little bit. So, I think that's a really pivotal scene that really shows, him still trying to do that mayor persona, but definitely, Kingpin is still in there. He's still in there, very strong, wants to come out, and he wants to play. And, I think that whole sequence is funny because when he kind of zones out and he's hearing his own kind of inner and everything, you're just kind of thinking to yourself, is he gonna all of a sudden just do something really fucking crazy?
He wants to flip the desk right there.
Yeah.
At the moment, but he's holding back.
And so I think that's a great evolution of the character and just a really great job by Vincent D'Onofrio. So I think this sequence, this beginning sequence of this episode is really solid as well. I really enjoyed it. I thought it had a lot of great points. And I think overall, it's just a really solid opening to this episode.
I think D'Onofrio's always portrayed that menacing sort of vibe, with the role all the way through all the Daredevil that's been done.
Yo, he can twitch his face. You see his face twitches when he gets into it?
Yeah.
It's amazing. That's when you know he's about to fucking snap.
He just really he's really good as that character.
How does he control his one cheek muscle? How does he do that? It's so good.
That's why they need to bring him over and have him in the next Spider-Man film.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? In some way, they need to have Spider-Man interacting with him. You know what I'm saying? it'd be great for the MCU personally.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Andres? What are your thoughts on the beginning of episode 6, sir?
Yeah, it was good to come back to the main storyline after the bottle episode. Very intriguing that Heather, the girlfriend, is writing this book about, I guess, the street level heroes. Particularly the Punisher. Yeah, I agree, Cyber. I mean, this is the most stable relationship that Matt has so far because he always had that in and out with Karen in the Ritual series, and of course he had Elektra. That's the famous one. A lot of people know about the couple. So yeah, he's a chick magnet, folks. I mean, he's the this guy he's an F boy, for God's sake. I mean, he goes after the girls. It's crazy, man. So yeah, stable relationship with this girl, and it's funny because she is a psychology person, so she's a therapist. So it's funny. The most stable relationship is the therapist, which is funny. Very interesting conversation. I think she kind of know he's Daredevil. I mean, you can put two together. He's Daredevil, right? Like he's blind. Why he has those red eyes, and like conveniently, Matt always getting in these weird, shit, like it's very easy to put together that he's Daredevil, right? The Kingpin stuff, like I again, this storyline, I like the mayor stuff, but I think it's just not as engaging that they think he is. I like the moments when he is about to lose, like as Cyber say. I like that scene when he is like selling out, and it felt like Kingpin to me. And I'm very intrigued about this vigilante task force that he's going to do. With Prowl and then some other random comp that's corrupt. So I'm very curious about that. Yeah, and the Luca thing is like, okay, like this is what I mean. Multiple storylines. You get the police thing, task force. You get the Luca thing. Is that going to pay off, right? And and then the thing that I'm more interested in the Kingpins, and I don't know if you guys are with me, is the Vanessa and Kingpin stuff. That for me is more important, like way more interesting than what's going on. It's because just like Vanessa feels more like Kingpin, where like Kingpin is still Kingpin, but he wants to move away, but he can't because of just that violent nature he still has, and we see that later on. So, but I like that scene when he zones out. It was really creepy when he starts laughing. I was like, is he becoming the Joker now? So, and it's later on, but this one day I did appreciate the detail they did here. That was kind of cool. That he is becoming Kingpin once again, which is cool. The Muse. See, I think one thing I think the show needs is a villain. And I'm very excited to see the Muse. He's so creepy. I love that we got a serial killer here. I love how straight out of the comic books he is. And just a little trivia: the girls that he kills, that's directly from his first appearance. That's actually from the comic books, which is so funny. And I think it's similar but different. Like he actually does take a picture with them and says cheese. Like he actually talks.
Yeah.
Where in this show he rarely talks, which is kind of cool. I kind of like he's not talking because it does give him his creepiness, which I like. Because yeah, I agree with you. And he's been popping here and there. We've been seeing him. I was kind of curious. Like he's been the big thing about the marketing.
Yeah.
Like he's the big new villain, right? So I was like, okay, when we're gonna get to him as this villain? And like I was
6 episodes.
Yeah, it took 6 episodes. It's like, okay.
I think it will continue now, right?
Yeah,
now
yeah.
he's established, and so
Yeah, so that's good. And so this is where we get the next last 3 episodes is going to be 3 major, like this is the major arc we're like now having. That the Moose is going to be the threat for both of these men, Kingpin and Daredevil, and then that's where like Kingpin and Daredevil have their verses again because of this character. Like it's similar to what Bullseye played in season 3.
Oh sure.
Yeah, differently, of course, differently. But
you think they'll have to team up to take down Muse, Fisk and Murdoch?
It could happen.
Yeah.
And just wrapping up, I appreciate that we saw again the White Tiger niece. I think it's good that we're building up their character. I like, we're hinting at that she does care about, the community. She wants to do some good. So you see a little bit of that superhero kind of built to her, and it's more believable. And like, you can tell that she could take the role of White Tiger when it does happen in the future. So, and I like the actress. I think
I loved her line when Murdoch's like, "What do you want me to do?" And she's like, "Literally anything, Mr. Murdoch."
yeah,
It's great.
it's great. Yeah, I love it. And so I really like their like rapport. Those two.
Yeah.
I think so. It'd be great when she gets older. It'd be a great like team up for those two characters later on. So yeah, I thought the beginning was great. Like I was more hooked on the Matt stuff and the Kingdom stuff. I was like, okay, but when we got to the laughing part, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool.
Yes, the Muse is an interesting character, without question. So Muse isn't the only contributing factor in Fisk's sudden change of tactics. Early in episode 6, he receives an impromptu visit from Luca at his office, and Luca shows no fear in standing up to the once notorious Kingpin to tell him he won't be paying his $1.8 million in restitution. Luca even goes so far as to threaten Fisk and call him an old man to his face. Fisk also has to bear the disrespect of New York City's elite and a black tie fundraiser he's being forced to suck up to the wealthy Gothamites to curry favor, and more importantly, raise money for his pet project at the Red Hook port. Throughout the season, Fisk has had to endure the public-facing responsibilities and limitations that have come with this lofty new job. But in excessive force, in episode 6, he finally reaches his breaking point. Near the end of the episode, Murdoch and Fisk allow themselves to reach that point at the same time as they both tap into that violent nature that Fisk previously told Murdoch they share. When Matt receives a phone call from Hector Ayala's widow, Soledad, telling him that Angela's gone missing, he retrieves his Daredevil suit from his roof at last and re-enters the night as his alter ego. I think he says like, "Oh, fuck it."
Yeah, that's the best part. That's the best line. He just goes,
Yeah.
"Fuck it." And then you're like, "Fuck yeah, let's go."
So I'm going to strip out what the crossover stuff with Kingpin and focus just on Daredevil finding Muse right after that, So you've got Daredevil leaping across the rooftops with his billy club as a grappling hook. Born Again focuses on him in slow motion in midair. When he finds Muse in his subway layer, Daredevil uses his billy club again to rapidly propel himself forward. The visuals in both instances look uncanny in a way that's similar to the shaky use of CGI in the series premiere. Neither instance seems to align with the more grounded action that Born Again is deployed in the fight scene starring in uncostumed Matt. Again, this is the opinion of the writer. The ensuing brawl between Daredevil and Muse works much better, especially because it occurs at the same time as different fight featuring Fisk, which I'm not going to mention. We're not going to talk about yet.
But you got to talk about that at the same time. That's the whole point of that scene.
As Daredevil confronts Muse, who is in the process of siphoning. Well, I guess you're right, Imran, you do.
They juxtapose
who is in the
the
process
things.
of siphoning Angela's blood for his next art project. Fisk pays Adam, the guy who's torturing in his basement, the man who Vanessa had an affair with and who remains Fisk captive, a visit. Fisk provides Adam with an axe to level the playing field against Fisk, who has a much larger stature, and he lets him out of his cage for a chance to win back his freedom. Born Again seamlessly transitions between the two battles, drawing parallels in the combat, just as it draws thematic parallels between Murdoch's and Fisk's shared reawakenings. So it says, the action in Born Again still lacks the juice of the original Netflix series, but the show employs some nifty camera work and dials up the degree of violence to distinguish it from the past MCU series on Disney Plus, as I already mentioned earlier in the show, during episode 5. And each fight sequence serves the story, with this particular duel tightening the season's efforts to highlight similarities in Murdoch's and Fisk's journeys. The longtime rivals both win their individual bouts against their foes. Murdoch stops just short of killing Muse to focus on saving Angela, while Fisk sits beside Adam's body as he lies unconscious on the floor. It's unclear whether Daredevil would have ever stopped strangling Muse with the rope of his billy club if Angela hadn't been there. So I'll stop there. And then, there's a little bit of episode left after that. And we'll have one other question. But what are your thoughts on that big chunk of episode when we get the dual crossover, sort of fight scenes between Kingpin and Daredevil? And I'll go to you first, Andres.
Sure. I mean, spectacular. I was like, we're ready for something like, something action pack. We have spare in certain episodes, but not as big as like we got in episode 1 or 2, right? So I was very happy we got this, and my God, this did not disappoint. I really like this action scene between Daredevil and the Muse. It lived up to expectation. I just love it. I mean, it was just creepy how like the Muse like did that like flip around his back, like getting up was kind of queer. So we're like, yeah, it was just so horror like. It was very much like Silence of the Lambs meets John Wick basically. So I thought everything about that was kind of cool, and it makes sense that he didn't went forward to killing the Muse because he didn't want to like show like go to the dark side in front of this kid that he like him becoming back as Daredevil made a lot of sense in this episode because he tried to save White Tiger, right, this other vigilante, and the fact that he got killed is like as one of our hosts said before previously, that is the second thing that broke him down to the point where he had to come back as Daredevil. So it makes sense that he has to save, this person that she save one of the family members, from prison, but got killed right after that. So it made a lot of sense, and I was worried about. I was like kind of shocked that she went there and then she got captured. I was like, whoa, and oh my God, I don't know. I don't like deals, so it was like really hard to see like him just like pumping the blood out, and it's like, oh my God, just very creepy and just like, oh, very nervy. So I thought that section was just the highlight of the episode, and just seeing Matt doing the Batman thing, like going up and then getting his suit ready. It was like, yeah, and like he just did the Daredevil thing of just like flying rooftops. It was like very comic book. Yeah, I just dug that. Um, yeah, and then as Amber said before, we were cutting back and forth of Kingpin, right? Kingpin was seeing him taking care of Adam, torture him like both physically and psychologically. I mean, like when he has the big I don't know what you call that, like axe, or I don't know what you
It's an
call it.
axe. Yeah, it's an axe.
Yeah. I was like, what he's gonna do? What he's gonna do? I was like, what's? He's like, he leaves in the cell. He's like, gonna give him that. It's like he tells him, look, and he tells the story where like when I was little, I had to beat people three sizes over my height or size, whatever he'd say, right? And I was like, oh God, Adam, don't do it. He has done a lot of things. I mean, first he broke both sides back. Okay, he was a big fella, and I mean he still is. And yeah, poor Adam. He had no chance, so I was not surprised about that. And I think you see now that he's back as Kingpin. I think that episode, towards the end, like the fact that he was staring at the wall was like very classic, like Kingpin imagery. So that was like really cool. And his project, but the port thing is very important because he now is realizing that everyone is against that. And we got a really big surprise cameo of the Swordsman from Hawkeye. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
you know,
he was
Vector
there. Yeah,
he
Gene.
was there.
Yeah.
Just, yeah,
That's great.
yeah, he was there. Yeah,
Yeah, he was there, and I really like it. And so that like was enough to push Kingpin to maybe go now to push his influence on the mayor stuff to be more corrupt, and like he's not gonna listen anymore to his like was it manager, whatever she is, Sherry or whatever her name is. Like he's now he's full on dark side now. Like it's no turning back. The fact that he has Adam under this like mysterious cage is like, okay, he's down there. And same thing with Vanessa. Like Vanessa is also provoking Kingpin. We see this with her from season 3. Like she like is so like pushing Kingpin's buttons to become Kingpin again, and like you see that. And so And I like that touch when his one of his suits got ripped because he
Oh
he's
yeah,
he kind of gained weight because he's eating
he's
like
getting bigger.
getting bigger, and it's like, oh god, he is becoming Kingpin. So I like that detail. It's like, oh, I don't know if this was intentional, but it's kind of cool that they building up like the fact that he
Yeah.
was losing weight because he was trying to be a different person, but
Yeah.
now
He's getting big. Yeah,
it's
he's
getting
bulking
bigger.
up again.
Yeah, it's bulking up. So that's like,
Huh.
oh god. So I thought this section was the best part about this episode. Really engaging stuff. I was like, oh wait, come on. It gives me hope that the series hopefully sticks the landing. It's like this is good stuff. This is what I love about the Daredevil show. So yeah, I love it. It's great. It's the highlight of this episode. And the Muse, please, more Muse. I love him. He's great. He makes art with blood. Come on, guys. That's so cool.
That's
But
creepy. It's so,
yeah, it's
so
creepy.
disturbing.
Yeah, I know. 60 victims, folks.
Well, he escaped. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that when I watched the episode. I didn't realize that, but I guess he did. It says that he
Yeah, you
escaped.
did.
So
I didn't realize that either. No, it's not your fault. It was not clear. I assumed he choked him out and he was captured. Right.
yeah,
That's what I assumed from that. It was not made clear that he escaped. Like you didn't see him
Yeah.
run off. So I don't know what happened.
it says in the article he
That's
got
where
away.
I see in other recaps there saying
Yeah.
he got away, but I was like, what happened to him? I thought he killed him. I don't know.
I like that because it's very horror like every
Yeah.
like it's like Michael Myers.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, okay, you think he's dead, but then one shot is like, oh, he
And then you
disappeared.
turn around, he's missing. Right.
Missing,
he got
yeah,
up and
so
ran off. So
I just love that. That's
Yeah.
cool. I think that was a good direction.
It was good to see the all the knife fighting again. You know, like Netflix Daredevil. You know, with Daredevil having to fight people with knives and shit like that. You know what I mean? I like the knife fighting. It really shows off the good fight choreography. What are your thoughts, Imran?
bro, that was an amazing fight scene. That was the editing, the juxtaposition that these two guys are very similar. They have a similar darkness inside. Even how they edited, if you notice, Matt would give the headbutt and it would cut to Wilson on the other end of the headbutt to Adam. Matt yelled. I love when Matt yells. And then it cuts to Wilson yelling. And when Wilson, did you notice what Wilson said? He goes, mine. Talking about fucking Vanessa. And I also assumed Adam is dead because he fucking threw him through a big wall. He breaks the axe with one hand. He throws him into fucking bricks. I'm like, that dude's dead. There's no way that guy's surviving this. He's just letting it all out. Like, that's why you had Adam. Who the fuck was Adam to begin with? We've never seen this guy. But I just thought it all happened very quickly. Like, the show's moving at a fast pace. But all of a sudden, right? Matt learns about Muse. The girl goes for a walk. The girl gets captured. And then Matt just finds Muse. Like, he knew exactly where to go. Whatever. I guess it's fine.
Yeah.
But it gets into the fight. That all happened so fast.
It did. There was no build up at all. It just
it
happened.
was just like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
Oh,
boom,
I'm like,
boom,
all right,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
we're here now. Great, Jesus.
I mean, they could have done something where he he knows he can sense the smell, like those scents.
Yeah,
I don't know if he had that for.
he just followed the trail of like blood or something,
or like a smell from her
whatever.
perfume, whatever,
Barely an inconvenience at all.
They,
He found him right
they
away.
didn't explain how he found him.
He just showed
Yeah,
up.
I know.
He's
It's
there.
weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was weird. But I didn't care. I was like, look, I just want to get to the Muse. I was
fight.
like,
Yeah, we got to the fight. Was great. I love that fight. It was so well done, well edited.
That's all you got, Imran? Nothing else?
That's all I got.
Nothing else on the Kingpin beatdown on the dude.
Yeah, no, that dude's dead. That's what I'm saying.
or
Poor-
paralyzed.
Or either paralyzed or terribly disfigured.
He looked alive at the end.
So both of them survived, I guess, but I thought both of
Yes.
them were down and out.
Oh yeah, he got fucked up, but he looked
got
alive there at the end. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if he's alive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, it is TV at the end of the day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
Cyber. What are your thoughts, sir? Cyberneticshark, sir.
You're having connective issues there. You paused for a moment, so I didn't hear my name.
I apologize, sir.
It's okay. Anywho, yeah, I mean, the ending of this episode is absolutely fantastic. I mean, with the fights between, Kingpin beating up Adam to Daredevil fighting with Moose is awesome. I mean, seeing Muse, basically inject the girl with the serum that he uses, and then stabbing her with that blood drawing thing was like freaking intense. And I was just like, holy shit, is she gonna die? And I'm like, no, Daredevil's gonna come save her, that kind of deal, thinking to myself. And we see him go to the thing and get suited up, and he starts making his way across the tops, and you're just like, oh yes, this is gonna be so badass. And the fight sequence, just like everyone had said, it was so well done. The choreography was fantastic. The editing, everything about it was so awesome. Seeing Kingpin throw Adam into the wall and through the wall was fucking awesome. The freaking, and then Daredevil.
Cyber, they have Muse where he's just like staring to the side and sees Daredevil like running up on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and runs up on him like this on a run.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Muse, I feel, is very deranged. So I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't completely all there most of the time. So him running up on him like that, I think, was kind of a part of just his mystique. But anyways, I mean, their battle was also awesome too. It was just epic, battle-esque. I mean, him taking his cord around him and choking him was like freaking awesome. And you're just like, keep choking him, choke the shit out of him type of deal. You wanting him to kill him. Actually, you're like, just do it, Daredevil. Just kill him. Just kill the motherfucker. He's a serial killer. He just needs to be killed. And, he chokes him out to a certain point, and he's passed out when he goes to help the girl. And you're just kind of like, he's going to get up and get away, isn't he? You're just like, shit. You should have
tied him up or something. Yeah.
You should have tied him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. Tie him up or something. And, but then Kingpin just wailing on that Adam guy was just freaking epic too. I mean, him, just like everyone said, him saying, she's mine, you're just like, you could see the passion, the hatred. You can kind of see him taking out the frustrations he's kind of had with everything building up in the episode on Adam.
Yep.
And you're just kind of like, this is Kingpin I know. This is what Kingpin is all about. I mean, this is like Kingpin in the first season of Daredevil Netflix when he smashes the guy's head in with the door. Like, this is the Kingpin I'm looking for. And so then bringing that in and having him like take all his rage out of this Adam guy, at the end of the episode was just freaking epic and just awesome. And just kind of like, just all around, just really fun. And, like I said, I thought the action at the end of this was so good and just so fun. And I just really enjoyed it. And I thought overall it just really worked really well. And I thought it was a really great ending to a great episode. So really fantastic. The fact that we kind of see a little bit more of, Muse's lair too, as they're fighting and stuff, you kind of see some different things around. And you're kind of like, wow, this guy's been doing this for a long time. You can tell, like, this is not he just didn't pop up recently. He's been doing this a long time. And so the fact that, we kind of don't really know much except for that possibly like what we heard in the scene when they're talking to Kingpin about him, we kind of have an idea of how many people's killed, but that's just what they know of in that area. So who knows what else, he's done. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with that.
Yeah, most definitely. And so, I mean, basically the episode wraps up. Matt does save Angela's life. He gives her mouth to mouth and gives her like a blow to the chest that revives her. When Angela sees the familiar costumed figure standing before her as she wakes up, she asks Daredevil. And in what serves as a larger statement of the hero's triumphant return to the series, Daredevil replies, "It's okay. I'm here. Yeah, I'm here." Okay, so that's essentially the article. That is the, it says excessive force isn't as strong as the preceding episode, but it serves its purpose, delivering breakthrough moments for Murdock and Fisk. After their conversation at the diner in episode 1, in which they both claimed that they would operate only within the confines of the law and the city's systems of power, Murdock and Fisk have both broken their promises. Murdock's girlfriend Heather is starting to wonder why he's always getting himself into dire situations, and she's growing curious about his past experience working with vigilantes, such as Frank Castle and Daredevil, as she prepares to write her next book about the psycho behind mass personas. Meanwhile, Fisk is starting to get visitors at his new office from his old line of work, and he's growing bolder about the ways he's using his mayoral power. Consequences may soon await them both. So it basically just wraps up and says that throughout the season, Muse's blood murals have appeared across the city, but excessive force marks the first time the villain has been at the forefront of the Born Again episode. As such, let's dive a little deeper into the character's comic book origins, yada, yada, yada. It gets into I guess he appeared first in Daredevil in 2015 or whatever, but that's pretty much it. My question for the end of the show was basically just, did you have any other thoughts, guys, on episode 6 or episode 5 at all? Anything else you wanted to say for the night tonight to kind of, cash out? Anything to say about that ending? Daredevil claiming that he's kind of back as Daredevil. Any predictions you have maybe for like where they might go with the next episode? Anything like that? I'll go to you first, Cyber.
As far as where they're going to go, I mean, I honestly really don't know, because they really could take this anywhere. And as we've seen in the first 6 episodes, there is a lot that they are encompassing all into this season. So we've gone through so many different things: the death of Foggy, Karen moving to San Francisco. Then we've had the rise of Kingpin to mayor and all this kind of stuff. And then the rise of Muse and the killing of White Tiger, Punisher popping up and all that kind of good stuff. So, I mean, they really could go anywhere with this. So I think we're definitely going to be seeing kind of I definitely feel we'll get kind of like a wrap up a little bit of him fully becoming Daredevil again, and then kind of leaving it on a cliffhanger a little bit about where he's going. As far as like anything else about the 2 episodes, I can't express enough that these 2 episodes were just absolutely dynamic and fun. And I absolutely liked them. I loved them. I thought they were fantastic, and I think they're the best of the season so far. And that, we have a lot that we still haven't really encompassed in their stories. Like, what is Matt going to do as he becomes Daredevil again? Is he going to change how he does things? Is he going to be doing different things? Where is Kingpin going to be going? Is he going to become Kingpin again? Because we have to have him become Kingpin again, because that's inevitable, because you can see it. And as everyone's mentioned, his twitches and everything that Vincent D'Onofrio is able to pull off and do in his performance is absolutely fantastic, and really showing that Kingpin's still in there and wants to come out and play. And it'll be interesting to see what else they kind of incorporate from the MCU into the Daredevil series too as well. Are we going to get mention of other characters? Are we going to end up going to San Francisco, like some people have mentioned? Are we going to see Cassie Lang? Are we going to see Ant-Man? All these different things. There's so many different questions. So I think that there's a lot more to unpack, and who knows where it's going to go. But overall, really 2 great, solid episodes.
Imran.
I did love that final line where he says he's back. It's like the John Wick. Yeah, I think I'm back. Like, he gets that moment, and he's fully back. It's fantastic. My prediction for Muse. Remember that kid, Heather Glenn, that approached Heather Glenn in the first episode, who's like, he gets their email.
Episode 2.
I think that's Muse, right? So what you need to do, you need to make this personal stakes for Matt Murdock. I think Muse maybe goes after Heather, and now it gets super personal. I wonder if we're going to see Frank again. Would Frank help out? And to make this, Frank's got to take out this anti-vigilante group.
Oh, he'll be back.
Yeah, because Wilson just put all the bad cops together and took the restraints off them and told them to go fuck shit up. That's bad. So while Punisher's dealing with that, Matt's got to deal with Muse. Maybe it gets personal. Yeah, there's still a lot to go through, and it's very exciting. And the show does get better and better for me. So, like, yeah, I absolutely love these 2 episodes, that they were so different too. I think it was smart of them to put out the 2 together, because it's a little more satisfying that way. Imagine if you just had that one standalone episode. Oh my God, people will be complaining even more because but they were smart to put out the 2. But yeah, no, the show is very good.
Okay. Andres.
Predictions. Well, yeah. So the Muse identity, like it was kind of obvious. Like
Yeah.
I knew the actor from another TV show that I love, and his name was already pop up in the credits for this episode. I was like, okay, it was kind of obvious, and yeah, we were. This is a Daredevil show, folks. We're gonna have a death of one of these characters, and it's definitely the girlfriend. Unfortunately, that's gonna be the day that's gonna tip Daredevil to the dark side yet
Yeah.
again. So that's gonna happen. I will see a power struggle between Kingpin and Vanessa, like because we don't like. It'd be kind of cool to see maybe Vanessa is like going back on Kingpin, which we kind of saw in episode 3, I think, in episode 2.
Vanessa could very easily find Adam
Yeah,
in the basement.
that's true. Yeah, that's something like eventually Vanessa has to find out that Adam is dead, or like he's been held captive from Kingpin, so that does need to happen some point. So that's really it. I don't know how we're gonna do this, but like yeah, I'm curious what we're gonna do with the new characters. Like that's been the one thing that I'm like they've been underdeveloped. So I'm kind of curious what we're gonna do with these new characters. Like Heather's been the most fascinating one, so I think she has a clear point, like a clear path. And Punisher, I do want to see Punisher. I think he will help out. I think there's going to be one episode where Punisher is going to help Daredevil to stop the anti-task force because they're the Punisher copycats, and
Yeah.
we did set that up last episode, so that needs to pay off. So that has to happen either next episode or 8 or 9, whatever. So that's my like theories about the next 3 episodes. I'm very excited. I'm like very stoked. I think this like again, as I ever say, for these 2 last episodes were so good, much better than episode 4. I think there was just leaning. Like we got to the point where like, okay, I'm excited for this like last 3 episodes of Board again.
Yeah, okay. So I think we're all on the same page then. That I mean that Daredevil's pretty solid television so far. It's not, it's pretty good. They bounce back with episodes 5 and 6, definitely after episodes 3 and 4, I think. But all right, ratings. I'll go back to you, Imran, first. What's your rating on episode 6?
Episode 6, I'm just gonna give for that fight scene at the end. I'm gonna give it a 9. That fight scene was just the best part of the whole thing.
Okay, Cyber.
10 all around, baby. 10 all around, sir.
Nice.
10, 10, 10.
Okay, I'll give it a 10 as well. Andres.
Yeah, I'll give it a 10 as well. I mean, you make art with blood. That's cool. I'm not gonna do it, but it's cool.
That can't be removed too, which is the wildest part. Like
We
can't-
wanted the action and the violence and all that to come back. You know what I'm saying? And they brought it.
Yeah. I mean, and Kingpin killing the boyfriend, well, somewhat like hurry the boyfriend by breaking his back.
Look, he's not dead. Is he dead? Because if he's not dead, he kept his promise. He told Vanessa he wasn't going to kill Adam. He didn't say anything about beating the shit out of him.
Exactly.
That guy's fucking durable, bro. He can take a beating.
Yeah.
Pronouns are they, them, or at least that's what I share with people most often. But for this particular meeting, I will come out fully as saying that my pronouns are she, they, him.
That's not confusing.
No, that she, they, him. What the fuck?
Okay.
What a world we live in, folks.
I don't know. Fake Instagram.
Here's my pronouns: Andreas, him, Time Lord. That's my pronouns. Remember that, folks.
Our pronouns on Instagram are like, I have like Zer as one of them or whatever.
Zer. Yeah.
That's a one.
That's the one. Oh.
Yeah.
Right? The best one is who gives a fuck.
That's a good one. Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck, and please don't fucking bother me. That's my pronouns, folks.
Yeah, I've never filled that part out on any social media or anything like that.
No. Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Well, that's it then, guys. Great job, everybody. That is the end of our review of Daredevil episode 6. We all of us had a great, had a great time, I think, on the review. Everybody was strong on the panel. Lots of great contributions. Great show, guys. And Imran, we appreciate you as always coming back, and pitching in more than once, in the series and all that, and contributing so well on the shows and all that. Thanks for coming back, brother. You're always welcome to come back again.
Thanks for having me, and it helps that we have a good show to talk about. That's what makes a big difference.
Well, you're a great contributor. As a guest, Imran, we appreciate you, brother. All right, so we don't have Cyber on the MCU's Bleeding Edge on Friday for Commando. Unfortunately, we are doing Commando. Andres will be there.
Yeah,
I'm moderating Commando. We got a lot of guests, a lot of first-time guests coming on.
Wait, I'm moderating Friday. I took this.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I told you could moderate. So Andres is moderating Commando. How about that? So, which would be great because we have like 2 people that are coming on for the first time. So we'll see how that plays out with Andres moderating. Hopefully he'll do a good job. We'll start off with plugs with you, Mr. Andres, Pop Culture Guy, since I already had the spotlight on you anyway, sir.
Oh my God. Anyway, I just want to say thank you everyone joining us tonight on this spectacular live stream recap of Daredevil Born Again episode 5 and 6. Thank you, Brendan and Dom, who were in the chat. It was great to talk to you guys. So recently I posted up my Ace Ventura 2 30th anniversary tribute. Check it out. The new short, where Cyclops dropped the F-bomb on Magneto and X-Men Dark Phoenix. So that kind of completes the whole the F-bombs and those prequel series of the X-Men stuff. You could check that. Also the Batman endings from 89 through 1997 is there. Right now I'm working on the Iron Man stuff, and then see what else. I'm gonna start soon the Yippee-Ki-Hey motherfucker from Die Hards, all 5 of them. That's gonna be funny. I'm curious how far the reviews will go for those. But anyway, I just want to thank Cyber Jeff for joining me last Sunday for the live stream review of Ace Ventura 2. It was so fun. We had a blast. I mean, Shaka Khan, it was a blessing. I mean, it was so fun. And raccoons, cliffhangers, it was crazy. Anyway.
Shikaka.
Yeah. Anyway.
Can we talk about something superhero related or something like that on the next live stream, please, sir? Like something like Andor season 1 recap or something like that, or
Yeah. So the next potential things for April, I need to text. I do want to do Age of Ultron. That's something we need to do because Avengers.
Okay. I'm down to do Age of Ultron.
Yeah, and I did tell you I want to do The Last of Us talk. I don't know if you want to do that.
Yeah.
So that's the plans for April.
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it, sir.
I'm working on it, sir. I'm watching Andor, Imran. I'm trying to get that so I can be ready for next weekly discussions. So anyway, thank you everyone, and plus please check out Friday for Commando, where I gonna moderate because I love Commando. I am a huge Arnold fan. I mean, I'll be back Friday to give you a badass.
What's the Arnold line from Commando? It's not. Is it stick around? Is that?
Yeah. No.
No. What is it? It's
take some steam, Bennett.
Oh yes, blow off some steam, Bennett. That's great.
Yes.
I mean, I love that movie. Opens with him carrying a tree. It's fantastic. Just a tree on his shoulders. He's like, hello.
Yeah. So please join us. That's gonna be fun. Cyber couldn't do it, so I gladly took the moderation because I love that movie. It's such a fun action 80s movie. So thank you so much.
Cyber needed a Friday off anyway, right, Cyber? So.
Yes.
No, I just had plans.
Yes. Oh, I thought he was hibernating. I thought that was his hibernation.
No. He has plans. He's going out to do something. But
I thought shark hibernates this month.
We just want you to be well rested, Cyber. We got a lot of big TV series to cover next month, sir.
Okay, if you say so. Anywho, folks, if you enjoy me here on the panel or as a moderator for the MC's Bleeding Edge, check out my solo content. You can find me under Cyberneticshark on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, all those great places. As you can see there, my most recent video is the Freakier Friday trailer for the upcoming sequel to Freaky Friday from 2003, the remake. Of course, is getting a sequel, and of course, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are reprising the characters from the original film, along with Chad Michael Murray, Mark Harmon,
Wow.
and several others that were in the original. So definitely check out that trailer reaction if you haven't seen it yet. It's a good teaser, pretty fun. Looks like it's gonna be fun like the original. And then if you haven't checked out my latest movie review, that of course is the film called Last Breath, which is based on the true story about a deep sea diver. Basically that he basically is without oxygen for 30 minutes underneath 300 feet of water, and is rescued and surprisingly survives and has no lasting effects. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, check out that review. Then my most recent shorts, of course, I just put up my Beer League mini review. I hadn't put one up of that yet. Just watched that last night. Love this movie. Freaking hilarious. Artie Lang is in it. Ralph Macchio. The late Seymour Caselli is in it. It's super funny film. If you haven't seen it, check out that mini review. And then, of course, if you haven't seen any of my other 3 recent there, of course, Black Bag, Novocaine, or The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, definitely check those out too. Really fun. Be having more stuff for you guys soon. More trailer reactions, more reviews, and all that kind of good stuff. So keep on watching, keep on trekking, and thank you so much for being a subscriber. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And of course, check out me and Mr. Andres, the Time Cop, for awesome content. We are rocking it.
So question, guys, real quick, before we go over to the Jock and Nerd podcast, Andres, what are you looking forward to covering most? The Last of Us or Andor? Which one are you looking forward to covering the most?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think I'm excited for Andor because I like Rogue One. That's like my top tier favorite Star Wars movie, besides Empire Strikes Back. I'm very curious how, the writer that did, Rogue One gonna lead us up to Rogue One. And I love the character, the actor that plays Endor, the main guy from Rogue One. So I'm very excited for that series. And because Jeff, you've been talking these last few years how good it is. So I'm very excited to get into that and talk to you with it, for like weekly discussions, with other guests, so I'm very excited about that. The Last of Us, I'm not a huge video game person, so but I'm into apocalypse stuff, but it's like, okay, that's why.
Diego Luna is the actor that plays Cassian Andor, and just wait till we start covering Andor. You'll start hearing it from lots of people that'll be coming on the shows talking about how good Andor is, so how good season 1 was. Imran's already said that he thought it was good. Where are you at, Imran? What are you looking forward to doing better, more Andor or Last of Us?
That's a really good question because they're both the first seasons of both the shows were very, very good.
Yeah, The Last of Us was really good. It was sneaky good.
Last of Us was fantastic. HBO Prestige. I love that team. Craig Mazin, the guy who did Chernobyl.
Yeah.
And Pedro Pascal is in every fucking thing. So that's great. But Tony Gilroy's view of Star Wars, Andor is like the best Star Wars TV show that they have. I mean, it's adult. It's prestige. It's prestige.
It's very adult. It's like it's the definition of adult Star
Wars.
Sure.
It's almost like it should be on HBO. It's almost, you could take the Star Wars out and it's a mature prestige science fiction show.
It's like an HBO produced Star Wars series.
We're just talking about the nature of power and rebellion and authoritarian and control. And oh my God, it's so good. So, and then we're going to see K2SO and Ben Mendelsohn's in this, and I may be a little bit more excited for Andor too.
Yeah, that's the other thing I'm excited seeing the other Rogue One characters be in this new season too.
Yeah. Cyber, what do you think, sir? Where are you leaning?
Andor. Simple fact, I love Rogue One, and out of the 2 series that we did the first season of, Andor was the better of the 2. So I'm looking forward to Andor.
Do you have any remembrances of covering Andor season 1 with me? In terms of anything you could recall, as far as how did you enjoy doing the review shows? Was it a good time for us?
Well, I'd be lying if I didn't say that that all the shows we cover have been fun. So, except for She-Hulk, but
Acolyte, even the Acolyte
and Acolyte, those two. Oh, Willow too. For the most part, it's fun talking about shows because it's just fun. So yeah, I mean, Andor was a good time. We had a lot of great guests and we had fun talking about it.
Yes, we had some great discussions, without question. I think you'll enjoy that aspect of joining us for Andor, Imran, as you get to meet some other guests, that come from Star Wars Focus podcasts, stuff like that, Andres is watching Andor right now, and watching Last of Us season 1 right now.
Andor season 1, episode 10, that prison break episode is the best episode of the whole season. It's so good.
Just the way that they broke it up and wrote it into those episode arcs, like the way they did,
And so then this season it's gonna be interesting because I think those arcs it's gonna jump ahead a year every 4 episodes.
1 year time jumps every 3 episodes.
It gets right up to Rogue One, and could we see Darth Vader? He's around. He's a big part of this right now.
It's crazy that we're going to be covering Andor all the way into July. You know what I'm saying? Even considering the fact that they're going to drop the first 3 episodes in 3 weeks.
Yeah, but 12 is a lot.
But honestly, to tell you the truth, I love it because Andor was so good. And I really can remember, how much fun it was doing the shows, reviewing the episodes. Yeah. We did have some really great guests, and we're going to have some great guests coming back from those, reviews from season 1 coming back. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. It couldn't come any sooner. The Last of Us season 1 was surprising. I know there were a couple of episodes that Cyber was a little down on when we did Last of Us. I can remember that, but it'll be interesting to see what Andres' take will be on The Last of Us, since he wasn't with us on that. That was right before he started doing shows with us, unfortunately. All right, back to the plugs so we can get out of here. Imran, Jock and Nerd Podcast, sir. I always like to just pull up your podcast directly because you guys are mainly a podcast.
It is an audio podcast, yeah.
Yes, sir.
But anywhere you can find podcasts, you just search the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Give us a subscribe. We had new shows every week, every Wednesday. New shows for the last 10 years. And we're reviewing all sorts of crazy things. Everything from Invincible and Daredevil to Anora and The Substance. Taking a look at some Oscar nominations.
Imran, what is the Thunderbolts Absolute Cinema trailer? I have no idea what that is.
You just look up Absolute Cinema Thunderbolts trailer. It's the way they marketed this movie, it looked like an indie movie. They were citing the creators who have worked on other small things. There's some good music, some new footage, but I just thought it was a really interesting piece of marketing from Marvel for the Thunderbolts. Because the tone is almost like
I've seen it,
right? It's like a crazy indie movie with these people, and I was like, all right, that looks kind of fun. I still don't know what the movie's gonna be about, but I mean, I'm getting excited.
Yeah.
I don't know either. I want to believe that it has potential, that it could work.
I think it could be. I think it's gonna be kind of good. I think it's gonna be different.
But the question is it what the box office wise? What about it? What's there really for people to actually want to go out and buy tickets to go see that movie?
That's a good point.
Well, I know we don't have time, but because of the announcement today, that is gonna boost up the tickets.
That's definitely gonna help. Yes.
So
it's all timing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of convenient. We're talking about this, and the fact that the announcement happened today with the inclusion of Avengers Doomsday, that's gonna help boost the Thunderbolts tickets even more now.
Yeah, because people are gonna be like, "Look at this cast! I have to see Thunderbolts."
Thunderbolts sale is going to be higher than Captain America: Brave New World.
I think so, and then I think Fantastic Four is going to be real big. I think that's going to be that'll be the biggest of the year.
Yeah.
Yes, most definitely. I would agree 100%, Imran. I didn't want to take away from your plug, sir. If you have anything else you want to tell us about the podcast, please feel free.
No, we talk. We're going to be reviewing much of the same things. If you subscribe, we'll be doing Andor, Last of Us. Next week we are reviewing the new Jason Statham action movie, A Working Man. You got to love the Statham movies where the title is just the job. It's just a mundane job.
Yeah.
He's been the transporter, the mechanic, a beekeeper. Now he's just a working man. And I love it. I love that.
How about the trailer for The Amateur?
The Amateur also looked interesting. Rami Malek trying to be a badass as a CIA operative. Also check out the trailer for Freaky Tales with Pedro Pascal. It's like this anthology set in the 80s, very like Tarantino-esque. That one looked good. That's coming out in April. And I'm excited for Ballerina. That last trailer for Ballerina also looks awesome. John Wick is in it.
Yeah. We watched it over on Andres' channel the other night.
Yeah.
That's a dope trailer, man.
So we'll be reviewing all these action movies, and there's so many things coming out this year. We're going to try to talk about as much of them as we can on the podcast.
That's right. Jock and Nerd, they cover a lot of new movies and stuff we don't really do. They bring that to the table. And they do cover a lot of the same stuff we do. I mean, honestly, I'm sure when it boils down to it, we're going to cover like Alien Earth and stuff like that down the road at the end of the year. You guys will be covering it too. I know you will.
Yeah, we love the Alien movies. There's two good ones, but I love the whole series.
That's a no-brainer. I can't wait till they drop an actual trailer for that show.
Yeah, there's a clip. They just put out a clip today. I haven't seen it. They put out a clip from the show, and I heard it was pretty good. So you can look that up.
All right. Well, listen, folks, we appreciate all of you out there. Of course, consider doing all those fun things like liking, following, subscribing, leaving a comment. We love all that good stuff. Support all of our creators on here on the show. We love all of you out there. Again, we do have Commando on Friday. Andres is moderating. It should be a great show. And then we'll be back again to do Daredevil again next Wednesday for episode 7. And I can't remember exactly who's going to be on the panel, but it'll be some different faces. So that should be interesting. Great job, guys. Appreciate everybody that was on tonight. Cyber, good to see you, brother. I'm just a pop culture guy. Good as always. Imran, good to see you, brother. Folks, we're out of here. God bless you. Peace.
Mom.
What?
I'm going to ask you 3 questions, okay? And your answer every time is going to be addicted.
Okay.
All right. So if an alcoholic drinks too much, they are
addicted.
Right. And if a drug addict does too many drugs, they are
addicted.
Right. And what slapped you in the face last night?
Addicted.